Let's turn her up.
Testes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on what side of the world you're in. I'm HalfLifeSistah. This is my hubby Wolf Kane.
What's up, everybody?
And my soldier, Eco Stacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to my channel and to another episode of Sister and the Wolf Reaction.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm ready and I'm excited.
Okay. I don't want to say anything about my opinion on this because I don't want to influence her or anything. So let's just get a pure reaction from her, and then we'll fight, you and me.
Damn straight.
All right.
So, this particular song is from a Metallica album released in 1999. So this was pre-Rob Trujillo, so still with Jason Newsted. This was the last album with him. This was before James went into rehab. So, the dynamics of the band were a little different back then.
Mm-hmm.
It was filmed in San Francisco in Berkeley Community Theatre. So, which I've been to. I insisted on my dad taking me to Berkeley when we were in San Francisco, just so I could be in touch, the same building Metallica had been in
Oh, that's adorable.
a few years previously.
What about the Philharmonic?
Sorry?
What about the Philharmonic? Did you go to see them too, or they didn't count?
No. So this album's a little different. It's a lot different from what they normally went with. The main reason being is it's completely out of their comfort zone, and the crowd that went to this particular album recording, because it's a live album, are not their normal clientele. So
Really?
It makes it a little interesting to see their reaction.
Okay. Really
which
excited.
is why I picked it.
You're so wonderful.
There were some fans in the audience, though. You could see them yelling
Yeah.
front and center.
Yeah. You had a kind of yeah. It was
It's a mix of both.
It was a mixed crowd.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah.
This is
so,
interesting.
Yeah, this is off of the S&M, which was Symphony and Metallica. That's what it was called.
Okay.
And the song you chose is
Master of Puppets.
Oh my God! Finally. Okay, so on Twitch, Stacy was telling me she didn't want to tell me what song it was. It was a surprise, and so now I understand why. They've been asking for this song for the longest.
Well, this is my favorite song of theirs, and it's my favorite iteration of this song.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Master Puppets it is then.
All right, so we're going to get into it. We'll save the talking for later, so that way you can just kind of decide for yourself how you feel about it. The composer who did this with them is Michael Kamen. He did a lot of movies back in the 80s and 90s, Highlander, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. So he was kind of like the guy who wasn't Hans Zimmer, right? He was the other most popular movie composer.
Okay.
And he was also a Metallica fan.
Oh,
so
interesting.
he actually approached them and wanted to do this. And of course, Metallica was going through a lot of different phases. You know, they went from Justice for All to the Black Album, which was shorter and more consumer friendly. And keep in mind, when we say Black Album, it was a self-titled Metallica album. We just call it the Black Album
because it was dead.
Well, no, because it was self-titled, so it was Metallica.
Sorry, guys. Okay.
And it was all black.
And it was just
a black album.
Yeah, it was a black album with like a little snake
Thank you,
embossed on
Stacey.
it.
Thank you. Okay.
But it certainly wasn't a bad
I
album.
thought it was a metaphor for being bad.
It wasn't a bad album.
Okay.
So let's get that straight.
It wasn't a bad album?
It absolutely was not a bad album. It was a shift. Yes, it was one of the biggest selling metal albums of all time.
So that's the shift that they made.
It was the beginning. They shifted even more later.
Gotcha.
It was still Metallica. The thing about the Black Album, it was still Metallica. It was just a little shorter, a little tighter, a little bit more
it wasn't as
digestible.
hard, wasn't as dirty.
Radio friendly.
It was
more
radio friendly.
More mainstream.
You know, one can argue that Enter Sandman, even though it was played to death, had a pretty good punch to it when it came, when it comes in. Like the first time you hear it, it is pretty good. You know, it does get played out though. Is the only problem. So Metallica was going through a lot of iterations there. They did a cover album where they were doing a lot of songs by people that influenced them coming up.
Gotcha.
They were doing Load and Reload. They were starting to write some of the music for that. And so this was just another part of Metallica doing what Metallica wants to do, which is not being afraid of doing new things.
That's what's up.
So
I like that.
before this, there was very little metal. First of all, there was never a thrash mixed with symphonic orchestra before this. But there was metal, like Japan X did it before. Hard rock did it before. So some of the British people, the Who, I think was one of the earliest who did like a full-on rock opera.
Gotcha.
With an orchestra.
Filmed in my hometown, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean that was an innovation in and of itself. I mean, we're talking about a legitimate rock opera, which was just full-on giant musicals and story driven. Similar.
That's an LSD trip. It would melt your brain.
Yeah. And of course, Pink Floyd. Speaking of which, Michael Kamen worked with Pink Floyd. Okay. He's one of the few people to ever work with them separately, even after they broke up.
Okay.
So the point is, Kamen's been working with a lot of rock and metal guys. He's worked with Guns N' Roses. He's worked with Queen. One of the reasons why I even know who he is because he did Highlander and he did that song with Queen,
gotcha.
Who Wants to Live Forever. I don't know if you've seen Highlander. Have you?
Have.
It's one of my favorite movies from the 80s. It's just geeky kid.
I don't know why it's not even that serious.
Listen. Christopher Lambert and
Please stop.
Sean Connery. Come on.
Oh God.
It's a
I
badass
quote it
movie.
every time
It's
I
so
get a
80s
customer
though.
with the surname McLeod.
Yeah, McLeod, McLeod.
Yeah,
I
every
love
time.
that movie so much. I hate how they butchered the sequels, but I love that original movie. Anyway, so that's how I know him. And that Queen song he did was just perfectly quintessential 80s, which matched the aesthetic of the movie. So it always plays in my head, and it just worked. So I was a fan.
I was 14 when this album came out, and it literally blew my mind. I was just like, what?
Yeah, it was certainly unique for the time. So let's get into it.
Rocking out, man. Freaking kick-ass song. That's what I want.
It's a blooming good song.
I cried so much last week during my stream. Stop.
Listen.
Hey, I had nothing to do with that.
I know, but I mean, I can't help it. Happens. It happens. I try not to prevent it from happening. But
I thought Dying in LA would make you cry. To be fair.
Which one?
Which one?
I made her listen to a Panic at the Disco song called Dying in LA.
It touched me. It did, but it didn't make me cry. It was a beautiful song, though.
All right, let's do it then. So, Master Puppets S&M version. Right. You've heard the original?
S&M version. They have whips and chains and stuff.
Do not judge the hairstyles or the outfits.
Okay, let's do it. Jump right into it. Oh, wow.
See, the audience knows the words. Plenty of fans in there. Is Stacey Priest?
Yeah, crap. We have to stop this over.
Oh no, she's here. Oh, we lost you there for a second. I miss Jason.
It's all you need, dedicated to our fucking love.
I like the Larson shape. This is one of the prettiest interludes ever made.
Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Woohoo! This is gonna pick back up again.
So hard not to air drum it.
Woo!
Where's those dreams that I've been after? From as soon as I is. All of you will see us after.
Yeah!
My praise. Fix baby.
Pushing me.
Wow!
Goddamn cool. Remember this part, Stacey? I want to talk about it.
Waters will fall at natural habitat. Just a rhyme without a reason. Never-ending maze, drifting on for days. Now your life is out of season. I will occupy it. I will help you die. I will run through you. Now I rule you down.
He's got the best fake laugh.
Might need to give her a minute.
That was freaking amazing. That was phenomenal.
What'd you like about it?
Everything.
Oh, no, you just need the whole album.
God.
So you can see why I prefer this version to the original, right?
Yeah, this is amazing.
You prefer it to the original?
I do. I do. It's hands down. It's absolutely. It's.
Yeah, we're both going to be shot by the purists, but I don't care.
Well, I do not. Think it's better than the original.
What? How? Babe, are you serious?
All right, so.
This had so much. It was much more voluminous as well and more energetic.
Uh-huh.
It's like pow, pow, pow in the face. Amazing. You know what I'm saying? It was just on another level. You got to be kidding me.
So I agree that was the attempt. I agree that that was the point of what they were trying to do. And again, I respect Kamen, and I of course love Metallica. But in my opinion, it didn't work in this song. That's just my opinion. And it didn't. And the thing is, it's not a knock against either one of them. It's just this song wasn't meant to be symphonic, and it wasn't written to be symphonic. And what they were trying to do, it almost sounded like they were playing two songs to me.
I need to give you a better opinion.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
there are songs on the album where it doesn't work.
right.
The only thing I will say is that the transitions were a bit not so smooth.
Well,
There were a few transitions that I think could have been smoother, right? It was a bit too choppy for me, but overall, the song still, for me,
so I'm talking
was
about.
better than-
So I'm talking about two separate songs here. I'm talking about Master of Puppets. You already know.
Right.
Okay, and then you've got the overlay on top of that, which is the orchestra. And when you're overlaying a song, okay, you've got two choices. You could either play with the song, right, to enhance the song, like you familiar with Dimmu Borgir?
I've heard of them. I don't think I've heard any of their stuff.
Okay, they're black metal and they're symphonic, and they play with. They recently did a concert, I forget how many years ago, with a live orchestra, and it complements the music beautifully. But that's because the music was written, or with an orchestra already in it, so it's actually working with the music. This was a thrash metal song that was designed to be a thrash metal song. It wasn't designed to have an orchestra complement it.
But it complimented it though.
Well, that's where I disagree, because I felt like when the orchestra's playing, it's not enhancing for me, it's distracting, because it's not playing with the music. It's kind of trying to put more into it than it needed.
Oh, baby.
And again, that's my opinion.
Well-
And for example, the part that I wanted you to remember, Stacy. Remember this part, Stacy. I want to talk about it. Part of the impact for me when I listen to the original is how a lot of the music kind of pulls back and the guitar takes the center and it's kind of doing that impressive riff, and then it goes to the point and then it stops. But in this version, the orchestra is playing over it and distracting me from that moment. You know what I mean? And they're not even going with it. They're not going, like the violins and the drums aren't going with it and then stopping with it. They're playing over it while it's happening in almost a different kind of song. And that's where I've always had the issue with S&M.
Okay.
I can appreciate what you just said though. And I again, I found some things in this particular version that was slightly off-putting, but I think overall it was so beautiful that I think that, because of how great it was, that those little things I can ignore.
Yeah.
But again, I'm still new. I've only heard it twice. So, I mean, maybe there are things I can't pick it apart as well as you can.
Yeah.
or others could.
I mean, again, you could give it a few more listens and decide for yourself. This is why I didn't want to talk about this beforehand,
I'm
because I
glad
didn't
you
want to
did.
influence your opinion of it.
Of course not.
There are some songs, some tracks on there that I do like, but it's because the symphony meshes with the actual music.
I understand.
So-
I understand. But Stacey, you and I are here, right?
I keep
Yeah,
wanting
I
to
mean,
say
there are songs
Unforgiven.
on the
so I wanna
album
make
where
sure.
it doesn't work. It's just
For
a little
me,
too
this
jarring.
worked. I think some of the transitions were a bit choppy, could have been smoother, but overall, I think it was a beautiful rendition.
They look great though.
They
They,
look
they were at a
amazing.
Weird seeing
perfect.
perfect-
Kirk
yeah.
with black hair because his hair's completely grey now.
Yeah, no, I mean,
How old was
they're
this?
the perfect
How
age
long
right
ago was
there.
this?
They're in perfect shape right there.
How long ago?
That's
Yeah.
peak 1999.
Oh, 90, you said it earlier.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, they did this little experiment, and the last line that Lars Ulrich said in the concert was, "We'll be here next year. Same time next year."
Same time next year.
Yeah. It never happened because Michael Kamen actually was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 97. So a couple years before this concert. So he actually already had multiple sclerosis when he shot this.
Right.
And unfortunately he died in 2003. And they've never done this again. So like Stacey just announced, they're going to be doing it in September, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they're going to do a
I'd love to see this live.
yeah, so
You're
it's
nearer than I am.
yeah, it's brought people back to the original because of the news, so they want to hear it and relive it. I did the same thing, and that's why I picked for Nothing Else Matters. What's interesting about Nothing Else Matters, a couple things. One, James, it's probably one of the only songs that he actually did solo, guitar-wise. He was on the phone with his girlfriend. He started playing with the riffs, and he started coming up with the song while he was on the line with his girlfriend.
Wow.
And one of the lines in the song, "So Close, No Matter How Far," is kind of like a tribute to his girlfriend because I guess they were on a distance relationship. He was
Gotcha.
traveling and just kind of his devotion to her at the time, of course. I'm sure that didn't
What do you guys
last.
see the bunny ears for?
Because musicians, I mean, come on. All right, I'm sure he was in love at the
So
time, for sure.
judgy.
He wrote basically the guitar riffs. He plays it solo. When they play it live, Kirk now plays it, but it's one of the few songs where James played on his own. You've heard this song.
I have. I was going to say, I didn't want to cut you off. but I was
It's
gonna
one
do
of the
that.
only Metallica songs you've actually heard because they
I
played it on the
know.
radio.
I know.
Other than Enter
I
Sandman, they
was
played
so
this on the
happy that
radio
I actually
all the
knew a
time.
Metallica song. I was so happy. I posted it on our
Good
community.
job.
Yeah. So you know how beautiful it is. Did you notice when you hear it on the radio? Did you hear some of the symphonic elements
I don't-
that come a little bit later in the song?
I don't recall me. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, they're there. They're there,
Okay.
and they were.
Hear it again.
They consulted Kamen when they did that. So to complete the actual album version, they consulted Kamen, and he was involved in orchestrating and arranging that orchestra part of the track. So it was already there when they did S&M.
Gotcha.
And that's why, to me, it's the best version of Nothing Else Matters on the S&M version because it's that plus more,
More.
right? So that's why, to me, that works and Master of Puppets doesn't because that was designed to take in that kind of orchestra. And the thing about Kamen is he doesn't have like a Hans Zimmer, very beautiful kind of orchestra, soundtracks sound. He has a very classical, a lot of horns and a lot of traditional, but it's a little jarring when it doesn't work with the song like you heard
Like I heard.
like I heard in Master of Puppets. Yeah. So, but it does work in something like this where it was kind of designed to kind of complement and go with it.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're going to hear now. I'm going to set it
Okay.
up and then we're going to go to Nothing Else Matters, okay?
Okay.
I need to get my lighter out.
I think this was after a small intermission.
The guy was like, get your camera in my face. I'm holding a harp. I always remember the guy in the audience who's wearing a t-shirt with a tuxedo printed on it.
Metallica's being fancy. It's
You
got to
said
come
that, didn't
correct. Yeah. So that's Kamen. Rest in peace. You could tell he's a metal fan though, can't you?
Yeah.
He didn't cut his hair. And you recognize him, right? He's the one with the gray hair that confuses you.
I know.
I have to keep explaining to them that they're old now.
So close, no matter how far.
It's James in the music video.
Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are. And nothing else matters. I never opened myself this way. Life is ours, we live it our way. Hold these words I don't just say. And nothing else matters. Yeah, trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for us something new. My mind for a different view. And nothing else matters. Never care for what you do. Never care for what they know. And I know. So close, no matter how far. Couldn't be much more from the heart. Forever trusting who we are. And nothing else matters. Never care for what they do. Never care for what they know. And I know. Yeah, that's right.
See how the orchestra's working with the music?
Never opened myself this way. Hey, life is ours, we live it our way. All these words I want to say. And nothing else matters. Yeah, trust I seek and I find in you. Every day for us something new. Open mind for a different view. And nothing else matters. Never care for things they say. Never care for games they play. I never cared for what they do. I never cared for what they know. And I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love this solo. A lone tear.
Wow.
Clean up all three.
I just realized I'm sweating a lot too now. All right. So granted, it's a little easier to do it with a slower song. I get that, but I just felt like it works, with the music so much better. And I just felt like they were adding and they weren't distracting, in this song. This is my favorite version of this song. For me.
Yeah, I get that. I agree.
Wow.
I also love his vocals in this one, though.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the way he sang it and projected.
Oh, the bass line's really easy as well. It's about,
The,
yeah.
It's
you want to learn it.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a very simple, like the opening chord progression is very simple.
It's all open string, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's as simple
Anyone
as
can
you
do
get. But who's done it before? Like, it seems so simple. Like, why hasn't someone already come up with this, right? Like,
First thing I did when I got a guitar, I was like, yep.
Maybe everyone felt like it was, but it's like literally one of the most beautiful. It's such a beautiful opening way to open up a song.
Yes.
Which
Yeah,
version you like
I-
better? The album version you used to listen to,
I
or
like
this one?
this version more.
Yeah.
You
And
just
it's-
forget the whole thing now.
And it's cheating. It's cheating because obviously
Yeah.
Kamen was involved with the song from the beginning, but I don't care. That's how I feel. And there's a lot of good. I even like Hero of the Day and stuff like that. I felt like kind of worked well in
I
these
sing
versions.
That one so loud in the car.
Yeah. So there are other songs that work on the S&M. Just overall, I felt like towards the heavier stuff, it was more of a distraction to me. And I feel like if you want to hear heavy done right, listening to Dimmu Borgir do it with their orchestra. I mean, Stacy, if you want to be blown away, go Google it. Dimmu Borgir
You gotta listen to it
orchestra.
first.
But
I think I have heard of them. I've seen T-shirts with them on.
yeah, listen to Gateways or I mean, there's just so many good songs. But
I'm writing it down.
don't post anything for her because I'm definitely gonna do a reaction to that because I want her to hear that because she's familiar with Cradle of Filth, but she needs to listen to the other big black
I only
metal
bought
band.
one of their albums, and it's because I was feeling angsty and teenage, and I thought, what's the most obnoxious thing I could buy to upset my mother? It happened to be Cradle of
Really?
Filth. Yeah. I
You like
like some
Cradle
of
of
it,
Filth?
but
Really?
the dude's vocals do my nut in.
It's that's a love or hate, man.
Oh
you
my
you
God,
either
you don't
take
like
it or
his
you
voice?
I
don't.
saw
His
them
vocal?
live, and I was like, no.
Have you heard
Really?
Nymphetamine?
I think I heard it on stream.
Okay, because that I think you would like because it's more goth than black, and it's a bit more mainstream. Like that's kind of the Cradle of Filth mainstream album. So if you don't like Nymphetamine, you definitely won't like anything else they do. But
I'm just trying to remember which album it was because I remember I liked one tune, but I just can't remember which album it was. I'm gonna have to look that up in a second.
it's funny because I got their EP when it came out, the very first one they did, and I started playing it in the car, and I had somebody in the car with me, and it's always dangerous playing stuff like that for the first time with someone who's a non-metalhead. So when I started playing it, I kind of heard, like I could tell, like, okay, this might actually be a good band. Like the moment I heard his vocals, I was taken back. I was like, oh God, what the hell? No.
Yeah.
Because I don't like, I'm not crazy about power metal.
I'm so taken aback.
When I hear like high pitch and stuff, I'm like immediately almost turned off. But as
He
it kept
literally
playing,
sounds like he's eating a frog. Like he's got a frog in his throat and he can't
What's
shift
wrong with
it.
that?
right? But when you start to look at it differently, when you start to look at it from the perspective of witchy vocals, as opposed to just a high pitch, it's
Okay, I get what you're
It's-
saying.
it's part of the magic of that style of music in the
Right.
sense that it's supposed to be like that. He's supposed to sound like a witch. He's supposed
There are
to
other
sound
singers that sound like him.
no. I can't think of anyone who sounds like him.
He's amazing.
But you know that thing that Marilyn Manson does, that goth thing, where he goes to the back of his voice
Yeah.
and he sounds like he's got a frog in his throat. He does that too.
Yeah.
Danny does that too from Cradle of Filth. So he does the high pitch, and then he also does that low
It's like the most
goth.
ungoth name. Like, hi, my name's
I know,
Danny.
right?
Denny.
And then you-
Danny, that's how
Well,
he
it's
says it.
yes, he's English.
Danny.
Denny Phil. Yeah,
Ah. Well,
wonderful
yeah,
guy. He's been traveling the world on his Instagram. Yeah, he's a tiny little fellow, but he wears like these giant platforms. So on stage
He's so
he looks big, but
I
he's a lovely
remember
fellow.
loves that fashion. Yeah.
He's still kicking it. He doesn't give a damn.
That's what's up.
All
That
right.
means he's always been true to himself.
Yeah. Yeah, but as I heard it, I'm like, okay, the musicality, and I'm like, there's something there, but I had to turn it off because I was getting embarrassed with the person that was in the car with me. But when I
don't get it.
when I
No.
went and got to listen to it by myself, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna like this band. I think this might be something I need to explore more of.
What I don't understand is why people, like, for example, you tend to shy away from, or at the time you shied away from playing particular types of music around people.
No, the
Out of
thing
fear
is,
of
I
what
was
they may
listening to
think.
it. No, I was listening to it for the first time, and because I didn't know if
Oh,
it was
I
good,
understand, babe.
I
Okay.
couldn't push it on
Gotcha.
somebody else.
Gotcha.
Like if I like now, I would stand behind Cradle of Filth
Awesome.
and I would push it on you all day long and like, okay, you don't like this? Well, try this. You know, I have a more understanding of it. But at the time, I'm like, wait, this might suck, so I'm just gonna turn it off. You know.
I'll see if I can
Still
find
coffee.
the album cover of which one I got. I went into the record store and was like, what's the weirdest, creepiest, like messed up looking thing I can find? And it was that.
That or and any Death album would have done it as well. There's a moment in
I think it was
Gabrielle.
Born in a Burial Gown I liked the most.
Oh, that's great.
I don't think I've heard it before.
No, there's a lot of Cradle of Filth you haven't heard because you've mostly listened to Amphetamine.
Yeah, this was 2001, so this was the year I left school.
Yeah, Born in a Burial Ground is awesome. I mean, but you know what? He doesn't yell that much on it, so that's probably why you liked it.
It's just, just don't think I was used to the vocals. I mean, bearing in mind, when I was 15, I was listening to... What was I listening to? Metallica, mostly Metallica and Megadeth.
Okay.
So to go to that, I was a bit like,
He yells at the top of his lungs and it slowly fades away. I mean, what would you want that replaced with? You know what I mean? It grows on you. It really
my brain
does.
was like, the music's really good, the instruments are really played really well, but his vocals just didn't sit with it. It didn't match to me. They didn't fit together in my brain. I was like,
Yeah. Look at it
He's-
more of an
he's
instrument than a
listening to a different
vocalist.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at it as an instrument. Once I started doing that, like looking at it as just another instrument in the band, because his instrument makes the songs so much better. You know, when even that cliche opening yell as the song goes into it is just incredible from his and honestly, I've never heard anyone who sounds
yeah, I
exactly
think
like him.
Now I'm older, I probably would appreciate it a bit more.
Try an Amphetamine.
Okay.
Just try that one. Tell me what you think.
Tell
I think
me
I
what
should
you
admit,
think.
like, the first Iron Maiden song I ever heard was... It's bad. Wow, I think it's bad. Everyone I've told thinks it's
You
bad.
realize I like 90% of their stuff,
Yeah.
so
Well, it was that one from Brave New World. Is it the one about the Wicker Man? I was like,
okay.
oh,
The
that's,
Wicker-
I was like, oh no. And then I heard the rest and was like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
But you don't realize that album.
Time will come.
Yes, 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 yes.
That
But
was
I
good.
mean,
That was such
but,
a good-
but you
sorry,
don't
I'm
understand. That was a
blown.
return to form. That was a
that's
return to
okay.
form because
I'm enjoying it.
that was when Bruce came back to the band. So to me, that was like the fact that Bruce came back, and the album was actually good, and there were songs on there that I absolutely loved. It was just, as a fan, it was just like, oh my god, thank God, because that Blaze Bailey era was weird. It was weird. I mean,
I can imagine.
it was just. Well, I didn't know that he was going through a divorce at the time, the Steve Harris, and it was literally affecting his music because you could tell it was like sad and slow and
Yeah.
prodding, and
I still don't even understand how that guy plays like he does. I watch him and I'm just like, I don't understand what you're doing with your hands.
one of the best
I
of
did
all
the same
time.
with John Entwistle though, because with Steve, you can kind of see his fingers doing this. You know, like,
Right.
okay, I can do that, just not for that length of time or at that speed.
Right.
With John Entwistle, it was more like it kind of looked like he was doing this
Yes.
kind of thing, and I was
Uh-huh.
like,
Uh-huh. yeah.
how?
Almost like he's playing a Spanish guitar. You know, he's
Yeah,
just like
it was
going,
just like
yeah.
Like this weird
Uh-huh,
rhythmic
uh-huh.
kind of thing going, and I was like,
All right. All right, baby.
I should let you guys get on because it's
We're good to go?
11:15.
That was fun.
Yes. You're
Yes, I'm
beautiful,
gonna go and check
Stacy.
out that
Thank you
channel.
so much.
Yeah, and thanks for supporting her, and thanks for joining
Yes,
us
for as
as
long
always.
as you could. I appreciate you.
You are awesome.
I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video, and if you did, please give us a thumbs up, comment below. Do not leave without subscribing, and also please share our videos as well.
And as always,
As always, keep it metal. Metal forever, baby.
love y'all.
Love you guys.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy. Love you.
Bye.
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 Okay, what is this? This is
Dude,
insane.
I told you it's hot.
Come on, Old Spice, I need you, because it's not a.
Oh my god.
Oh shit, we gotta guess. Hey, buddy.
You can't see him on the screen though.
Okay, please look at the camera, fool. That's the cat I wanted to see.
He's huge.
Yeah.
Come here.
Come
here, baby girl.
Come here. Oh. I hate when you gotta beg your cats.
That's the life of a cat owner.
Right?
See?
Oh.
Oh.
Hi, baby. Oh, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Is she like not used to you holding her or something?
She's always making noise.
Oh,
Always.
so she doesn't like you people holding
Babe,
her?
you know cats don't want you to do anything that they don't want to do. They have to initiate
It's not-
everything.
If it's not on her terms, then no.
Gotcha.
I respect it, but I
no,
also hate it.
She's a Bengal, so she's very vocal all the time. All the time.
I can hear that.
I understand that.
Well, I explained why.
Well, in that case, I'm just going to roll a cigarette.
You make your own?
What is she saying?
She's gonna roll a
Yeah.
cigarette.
Roll your ciggy.
Now, if you smoke it without the filter, that's even worse.
I've got a filter. Calm
No,
down.
don't smoke without a filter.
I have
Okay.
not, see?
Okay. Now, why do you choose to roll as opposed to?
It's cheaper. A packet of Becky will last me a week.
Do you-
I've never really low fuel as a song in its entirety anyway. I mean, that's like officially the worst Metallica lyrics ever. It's like,
So I like everything except like the main part of the song, which is "Give Me Fuel, Give Me Fire." Like
it's like,
it's so
What?
hokey, it's so corny.
what?
But I
What
do
you
like the
want?
harmony when they go ooh, I like the sweet part of the song. It sounds
Yeah.
good, and then and it does kind of have a nice pace to it. It's just kind of hokey where he does the whole "give you all that I desire."
Yeah, it's like, what? What are you talking about?
Let's see how this sounds.
Oh, that was such a bad. That goatee is horrendous on James.
Hey,
On James, it looks awful. I was like, what are you doing?
to, don't hurt. I mean, I have like
On James. It
okay,
looks bad.
mine actually looks like it came from a goat. Okay, so his actually looks like facial hair.
Did you?
Point is, he's been in this business for a long time. He's been working with a lot of rock and metal guys. So him,
I'm sorry.
I can't put this in the video.
Go ahead.